Hi, I'm Steve Owens and you're in Steve's Kitchen. Kung Hei Fat Choi. Happy New Year to those of my subscribers that follow the Chinese New Year. It's a wonderful time of year. I haven't had a lot of time because of the Australia Day celebrations to do a great Chinese recipe this year, but I am going to do one of my favorites, the char siu bao, which is a steamed barbecue pork bun. Now, I've got the char siu recipe, so I'll leave that at the end of my video here. Char siu bao are really popular at yum cha and dim sum restaurants. Very simple to make, beautiful, light and airy. So let me show you now how we make them. To start with, I've got a cup of milk here, which I'm just going to warm for 30 seconds in the microwave. Now, different microwaves will take different amounts of time, but what we're basically looking for is the milk should be okay to put your finger into and it feels warm but not too hot. Now I'm going to take 1 teaspoon of instant dried yeast and pop that into the milk, and then 1 teaspoon of white sugar just to feed the yeast. And just take a teaspoon then, give that a little mix through, and we're going to set this aside for 20 minutes or so until it froths and bubbles. Now in a mixing bowl I've got 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, that's about 300 grams. Going to add 3 more teaspoons of sugar, just white sugar, about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a couple of teaspoons of vegetable oil. And then once our yeast, milk and sugar have started to bubble like that, we're just going to take that and pour it in with the flour. Now I use milk, you can use water for this, but I think milk makes a lighter and whiter bun. Now we'll just take a fork in there and start to mix that together. Now I always start my doughs off with a fork to keep your hands clean, but you are going to have to get your hands in and start to knead this dough. It's a pretty sticky dough and I want to move it now out onto our work counter. And I'm just going to dust the counter down with a little bit of flour. Now this is a lovely soft and silky dough. We're going to have to work this for at least 5 or 10 minutes. You can do it in a stand mixer, but I like to do it by hand. And as I say, it's quite a sticky dough, it will stick to your hands, but as you work it, it'll get silkier and smoother. Now this is not a bread dough, but we are building up some gluten in the flour now, and you'll see if I roll that up now, there's a lovely elastic, it springs back, it's slightly sticky. I'm now going to take a bowl, add about 1 tablespoon of oil into there. Again, just vegetable oil. I'm going to turn that around in the oil. Now I'm going to cover that with some cling wrap or a damp cloth, and we need to leave that for at least an hour. I want that to double at least in volume. So I've got some beautiful barbecued pork or char siu here, which I'm just going to cut up into strips. And then I'm just going to dice this up into little tiny cubes and pop those into my mixing bowl. I'm also taking a few chives or spring onions if you like and just dicing them up very finely. And then we're just going to take those and pop them on top of the pork. Then I'm going to add a tablespoon of hoisin sauce in there and a tablespoon of light soya sauce. And it's not compulsory, but I like to put about 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds in there as well. And then we're just going to mix that through and then just set that aside while we prepare our buns. Now you can see our dough has risen, it's at least doubled in size, it's light and airy. I'm just going to lift that out of the bowl. I'm going to lightly flour a warm surface. You don't want to do this on a cold surface. Just push the air out of the dough. Then I'm just going to roll this up tightly. So I'm just going to divide the dough up into 8 pieces. I'll just set these aside. Then I'm just going to take each individual piece of dough and I'm going to roll it up with a cupped hand. Now I'm just going to take one of those dough balls and start to roll it out to a circle about 5 to 6 inches in diameter. And I'm using the rolling pin now just to pinch the edges of the circle so it's thin on the edge of the dough. Now I'm going to place a tablespoon or so of the char siu or barbecued pork in the center of the bun. And we're just pulling up the edges of the bun and pinching it like a pleated edge. And we're just going to continue that around the outside of the bun until our barbecued pork is tucked inside this lovely little parcel. And then we're just going to lay it in a steaming basket on a little piece of greaseproof or wax paper. So now on a stove, I've got a little bit of hot water boiling away in a saucepan, and I'm just going to pop the steaming basket on top of that. Then we want to cover them over and steam them for about 20 minutes. Now they've just come off the steamer. I had 2 tiers of steamed buns there. Let's just take that off. You can see the heat coming out of there now. The buns have puffed up. So you can see they're beautiful and light in texture. The dough should be light and fluffy. We'll have a little bit of soy sauce there and give this a try. They are absolutely delicious. I mean, the char siu is great. The barbecue pork is fantastic. The buns are light and fluffy as they should be. Thank you for joining me. Kung Hei Fat Choi. Happy New Year to every one of you. The year of the horse, don't forget. Be good, share the love, give this one the thumbs up. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Thank you to everyone for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. I'll leave some links to some other videos up there. I'm going to sit and enjoy my char siu bao. Be good. See you next time.